Hello ladies and gentlemen, MarauderEX here, back with more Game Collection Madness updates. I've got probably the largest single stack of games I've done in a video, so we're just going to jump right into this one. This one's PS2 Part 2. Starting off, we've got Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, and this is the box one. I actually got this one when I was working at GameStop. A kid was going to trade this in for next to nothing. And I felt really bad because it had the box and everything or the cardboard box and everything with it. Not that anything really extra came with it, but we were gonna give him next to nothing, so I offered him a couple bucks more in cash, which you're not supposed to do, but I did it anyway because I didn't care, because I wanted this game and I didn't want to pay GameStop what we were gonna end up selling it for anyway. So I picked that up. I'm really happy. It's got the big yellow sticker on. I can't really get that off. I've tried. I need to try like a hairdryer or something. That comes highly recommended. But this game is fantastic. It is one of the better Dragon Quest games, because the series is actually just getting really good as it goes on. Dragon Quest IX was amazing for a DS title, and I kind of wish that 9 was on a console, just because of what this one proved it could be. So. Ridiculously good game, especially if you're a fan of the art style of Akira Toriyama. So, next up we have Drakengard. This game, not Culex, Darkseith showed to me. It's a Square Enix title in which you ride a dragon. Kind of Panzer Dragoon-esque, but not, because it's not rail shooter. You can also get off the dragon and beat the crap out of people with swords, or you can fly around and dogfight with a dragon. Kind of cool. So. Kind of like one of the 3D platform style games, like Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and Star Fox mixed. Kind of, it could have been a lot better, but as it is, it's not a terrible game. Let's see, next up we've got Dynasty Warriors 4. I've spent so many hours on this that it's ridiculous. I played through the whole game with a friend of mine. It's the only Dynasty Warriors game I've got, too. I should really play more, but the thing is, when you've played one, you've kind of played them all, because they don't really deviate too much from what they do. And it's basically killing a bunch of faceless henchmen, and as many of them as possible. But I had a lot of fun with this. It's a great co-op game. A great co-op game for any game in the series. So, and then they've got a couple of spin-offs like the Gundam-style game, so if you're a big anime fan, you don't really like the historical aspect, because the thing is, all these people are real people. It's all based off of the real Romance of the Three Kingdoms story, in which all of those people are based off of real people. Tracking down the reality of it can be kind of tedious, but real. Not as real as, killing hundreds of people, one person going around killing hundreds of people by themselves, but you get the idea. But if you're not a fan of that, they do have the Gundam series, which I do kind of want because I was a fan of Gundam growing up. So, but this is the only one I got. So, next up, Ephemeral Fantasia. I got this for like $3. I've heard terrible things about it. Well, I've heard terrible, and then I've heard mediocre. So I mean, it does kind of scale in that direction of not quite as good. But I figured for $4, $4, I think it was like $3.99. I really couldn't pass it up. So, sure. It's a kind of cutesy JRPG. The main character is looking all badass with a lute. I think it's a lute. I don't know what it is. It's some sort of stringed instrument. Let's see. Next up, we have Final Fantasy X. If you have a PS2, you have to have Final Fantasy X. I hated this game when it came out because I hated the character designs. Especially coming from Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII, and Final Fantasy IX, going back to the old school title, which I'm actually listening to You're Not Alone right now on my laptop. So, I mean, and then this. The main character looks like a mix between something that fell out of Abercrombie & Fitch and FAO Schwartz. I got nothing for the character designs for this game. Yuna looks kind of cool. Auron looks kind of cool. Waka looks terrible. Titus looks mostly terrible. I forget the Black Mage chick's name? I had it just a second ago. She looks alright, except lots of belt. And way too much cleavage. I never thought I'd say the word way too much cleavage, but I said those words. But yeah, you got to have this game. It's fantastic. And they're doing an HD remake of it on the PS Vita. I think it may be available on the PS3 as well, because I think it's just a download. But yeah, you can get a HD version of that. Then we've got Final Fantasy X-2. I had to get this game, because a friend of mine at the time bought me the Collector's Edition Strategy Guide and said, "You're going to buy this game." And I rented the game, and I'm like, no, I'm not buying this game. This game's terrible. I can't stand this game. The whole dress sphere concept, the 3 characters, and all you get is 3 characters, and then the weird J-pop rock star sequence in the beginning. None of this makes any sense. Like, who greenlit this game? It was a good idea on paper, in theory, for, you know, a game showing off, you know, a strong female protagonist, but then I don't know where they went with it. Next up, I actually really like this game, and it's very torn. Final Fantasy XII. This is the Metal Box Collector's Edition, which basically all it comes with is a bonus disc and then the case. But I actually really liked Final Fantasy XII. It was kind of an MMO that wasn't online because of how you had to control the characters. The character designs also seemed kind of weird, but I also took that with a grain of salt because they flat out tell you it's in the Ivalice world. So it's in the Final Fantasy Tactics world. So it's going to be weirder. It's not anything done with the Ivalice Alliance in that world. It's just going to be a little weird. So just take that with a grain of salt. But I like the judges, the concept of, you know, an elite badass enemy. That was kind of cool. I don't like the summons, because I like the more what had become traditional summons, like Odin, Ifrit, Ramu, that sort of thing. I didn't like the weird summons, but it is what it is. Next up, God of War. God of War 2. Do you like indiscriminately killing things with lots of blood and gore? You like the God of War games. I got them because at the time they were groundbreaking. And now that I've got a PS3, they have the God of War collections. Like, you can get God of War 1, 2, and 3. And there's one that's coming, I think it may already be out. It's God of War 1, 2, and 3, and then the 2 PSP games. I think it's, I forget the PSP names, I don't know. But, really, when you've played one, you kind of played them all. Like, the story keeps going, but how much more can you do with a disgruntled guy going around killing gods? At some point, he's going to run out of Greek and Roman mythos characters, and he's going to have to start moving on to something else, is the way I see it. Next up, we've got Grandia 3 and Grandia Extreme. I got these because of how big of a fan I was of Grandia 2. Grandia 3 has Grandia 3 has a similar system. Grandia Extreme is actually very, very similar. The thing is, it uses heavy voice acting, and on the back it says featuring voice work by Mark Hamill, Dean Cain, and Lisa Loeb. Mark Hamill's the only one on that list that I would actually want in a game. He's the Joker. He is the Joker. But it's the Grandia style. That style of combat I love. The stories are a little weird, but I bought it for the combat mechanics because I've had so much fun with the combat of that game that it's ridiculous. Next up, Grim Grimoire. I actually picked up this game for Kulix. He sent me a message saying, "Hey, looks like there's one in your area at a GameStop. Could you pick it up for me?" Sure, I picked it up, sent it to him. He did a Let's Play of this, so go check that out. And then after watching his Let's Play of it, I'm like, I gotta buy a copy of it myself. So I was able to track down a copy. It didn't have the case or the manual, so I had to reprint the cover art. But still, for what I got it for, because it's apparently jumped in price, because it's kind of hard to find. Like most other low print Nipponichi software games. So, but go check out his LP of it. That'll give you as much information on it as you need. Next up, huge box. Growlancer Generations Deluxe by Working Designs. That's the whole reason why I bought this set. It's a huge box set. It comes with a wristwatch. What else can you... It's a game that comes with a wristwatch. There's nothing else to say about it. And then I've got Growlancer Heritage of War, which the box is really flimsy on this one. Again, it's a collector's edition. This one was done by Atlas. It was not done by Working Designs, so that kind of saddens me. But I figured I had one of the huge Growlancer box sets. I should get the other one. This one comes with an art book, music CDs, and pins, it looks like. And a keychain. I haven't played any of the Growlancer titles. I've heard a lot of good things about them. But I picked these up long before I'd ever played it. Next up, another Working Designs game. Gun Griffin Blaze, and this one I actually have to be very careful because the whole thing is shiny. Like, it's kind of hard to see, but the whole case is just, you might be able to see it better here, it's just shiny reflective. It's a mech piloting game, shooter, done by Working Design, or localized by Working Designs. It was done by Game Arts. I got it because it's a Working Designs title, so I figured it might, be half decent. It's alright. Next up, Harvest Moon Save the Homeland. I had to get this game because it's a 3D Harvest Moon game, and it's not one of the weird spin-offs. Like, the Wii has like 4 or 5 games that are just either the Rune Factory spin-offs, or just like Harvest Moon Animal Friends. No, I just Harvest Moon. Like, I want Harvest Moon 64, but that's one of the better 3D ones. And then if you get the original Harvest Moon, then that's like the best ones. But I wanted this one because it looked good, and it looked very similar to the Dark Cloud art style, I should say, but as a Harvest Moon title. So I wanted that one. This one, the Hulk. I wanted Hulk in Ultimate Destruction, but I ended up picking up the wrong one. Mostly because you can surf around on buses, and who doesn't like a little bus surfing? I don't know if you can do that in this one. To be fair, I haven't actually played this one a lot because once I realized it was the wrong game. And I kind of want to get rid of this one, but there's no point in selling it because it sells for nothing. But it's a Hulk game. It's a sandbox style game where you're the Hulk and you can beat the ever-living pulp out of stuff. See, next up we've got Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, Jak 2, and Jak 3. I got these games because it started off as a really fun little action platformer, run and gun. 3D action platformer, run and gun. And then as they went on, the series started getting darker and darker, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool, even with, the concept of Dark Jak. I didn't get into all the spin-offs for these, like Jak Racing and that sort of thing. But the main 3 in the trilogy I had to go for. So, yeah. And I actually picked them all up at once from the same person, along with the other platform-style games like Ratchet & Clank and Sly Cooper. And you'll see those in the next bits. So, and then the last games on this one, I'm not even going to spend a lot of time with. Karaoke Revolution, Volume 2, Volume 3, Party, American Idol, and American Idol Encore. These are all for the wife because, again, she loves the singing games. So I have six Karaoke Revolution titles that are for her. I can't carry a tune with a bucket to save my life, but she loves them, so I go out of my way to buy them for her. And they as long as they keep pumping them out, she's going to keep buying them. She's only really good for the Karaoke Revolution games. The SingStar games and all the other spin-offs are alright, but she seems mostly focused on the Revolution. Mostly because she was a big fan of Dance Dance Revolution, so, Konami, they kind of know what they're doing with the music rhythm games. They've had practice with it. So, yeah, she went with these. So yeah, that's part 2. So I will see you guys in the next installment. Till then, later everyone.